Okay, so you were talking about the mental health issues here in New York City and all of that. And so one of my questions was, um, how has using your own pain in the material made you a better artist?
Mm, that's a great question.
Thank you.
I'm
Pretty good at that.
honestly, I would say that I'm learning now. Because I think initially you come in, again, I'm not no different than any other kid that's coming and looking at from the outside and going, "Hey, what's going on?" Once you get in, you start to see these things. You start out this way, then you start to learn about yourself. Through
Hmm.
this journey, I'm still continuously learning.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to do that because the artists that do that well are the ones who are they just won't go anywhere.
Hmm.
And I often think about that. Like I want to make some music that's real, that's close, not just about a particular thing, smoking weed for Timberland boots and stuff like that, but something that somebody can use, they can listen to on the way to work or something like that, or to
Hmm.
school, and inspire them to do what they're doing, not to do
Right.
rap, but just like to feel something.
Yeah. Just the encouragement.
You
So, in the light of that, Building Bridges 2 is on its way out.
Yep, yep.
So, the first one is still just a classic for me. Just, I love you and ESK make, amazing music together.
Love
So,
that guy. Salute him. He's a new brand. Well, I guess you could say he's a new father. Welcome to the Daddy Club. He's getting his ass royally
I
bust.
know we
So
had a
good for you.
conversation. We had a conversation. I was like, listen, you're gonna have to do X, Y, and Z because that baby is going to take up all of your time.
Yeah, that's
So,
right. I love it. I love that guy, man. We man, like since we met, we've been like building our relationship.
hmm.
And it's crazy because we work primarily from a distance. I've stayed under his roof before I broke bread. He stayed under my roof, but we're still able to work from a distance. Like,
Hmm.
because some people they have a problem with that.
Yeah.
It's like however we get it, we got to get it right. So it's like wherever this light is, we got to reach through that tunnel.
Hmm.
Like I'm always trying to see if I can utilize these relationships better. He's great, man. Because like I'll call him and be like, "Yo, man, I was thinking about doing like America's Nightmare 4. Yo, for real? I want to switch it up though, bro. Like I'm not doing that version. Like, but then it's like it's crazy because we got so much music together.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And I just like this guy. Like
Yeah.
I fell in love with this guy just for being real.
Hmm.
And I can say that
Yeah.
as
He's
a
dope.
man. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like he asked me on our initial engagement. He asked me to do something legend that passed away. Mind you, I didn't know this guy really, but the way he asked me, I just obliged. And he had Andre the Giant on the song. I was like, that's my bro.
Wow.
And truth be told, I don't think he paid me for that song, but I appreciate how he asked me.
Hmm.
And I think at the time I might have been going through something, and I needed to kind of express that. So that's kind of give and take relationship that I have with hip hop and writing. So it's not just yo buy my record. It's
Right.
like yo, thank y'all for allowing me to talk. You know,
It's a vent. It's like you're venting in your music sometimes.
that's a fact. This is
So,
therapy.
right, I was gonna say, and
Word.
how does that make you feel? Like when you're able to create something that is outside of the scope of maybe what you normally would do, but just being able to just vent on a record, like how does that make you feel? How is that just calming to you?
Yeah, I just got goosebumps just by watching you describe it, and then looking at the graffiti in the back, because that's how it feels.
Right.
It's exciting,
Hmm.
and it's like we don't come outside knowing everything, but if we know that we have an opportunity to learn about some stuff, we're gonna be wide eyed about it.
Hmm.
Not everybody has that bravado where they can go and walk into a crowd and just seize the moment, but then we all have something special. We just gotta find it.
Yeah.
And that hip hop allows us to have this like multicultural within cultures, and we get to go on metadates. We get to do wild, freaky, fun stuff, right? And then we find stuff. So imagine just being like someone who did like the worst thing in the world, and now you're like confined to your emotional or social cell for 24 hours, 23 hours. So imagine somebody who committed a murder or something, got to stay in the cell for 23 hours. When they finally come out for that air, how do they feel?
Right.
So how does it feel to express something to people who really want it? It gotta feel great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Something.
And as a writer, like, that's always been my therapy. Writing has been, since I was a little girl, that's always been something that has helped me verbalize things I may not have wanted to say. And so it's pretty much the same in hip hop because y'all are writing it. Like, it's y'all words that are y'all,
That's the
unless
foundation, right? Writing.
absolutely.
I I had to, I'm growing up in the game and like sharpening swords with guys like Buckshot. Like, he'd be like, yo, he's one of the guys who like we're more than rappers. We're more. I'm like, all right, now you philosophizing. Well, we rap, bro. We rap, bro. You know that, right? But it's like, I know, but you need to understand that
Right.
more powerful. So, excuse me. It's like, wow, like getting into the character and knowing the character, and now becomes more organic. It's way more. I hate to overthink something, but it's interesting to see the growth.
Yeah. Because those words are powerful. Like, we don't really understand what impact our words have. And one thing I know, if anything, about spirituality, we have what we say. So our words have meaning to them. So what we speak is what will have, whether it's negative or whether it's positive. Our words have power. So a lot of times what we're speaking in those raps and what we're writing down, it will come to pass.
So when you asked me that question initially, the first thing that came to my mind, I said the first person that came to my mind, like, how do you think your words change people's life? Like, I was reading something. Well, actually, I was looking at a clip where Method Man is talking about next. Like, we all touch each other. And I'm not talking about no funny style business. No. I don't gotta say no pause and no nothing.
Right.
We all touch each other. We all reach. We all inspire each other. Like, we come from the old school back, but we're really not supposed to talk about that. We're not supposed to give the guy, like a salute, but we do that. Like, we've been around here so long that we can do that, and it's okay. Yeah. And then we can get in the ring and spar.
Right.
Go.
Right.
So I love it. I was like, we could redefine it, but it still has its basis. It's based in that, like, writing.
Yeah.
I'm a writer. I love to write. Like, I'm not a battle rapper. I would get cooked in the battle rap. I salute to all the battle rap. I would get cooked. Though.
Like, let me write this first.
My man PBS, bro, he gets busy, and he's a writer too. But I know my space. Like, I'm not gonna be like, big up to kudos to all the rappers that did that and stepped in that arena. I would never do that. So anybody is thinking about, yo, Smif and Wessun, y'all want to battle? No. What if we got X on them? Yo, no, bro. Like, I'm not embarrassing myself.
Right. Because like, most people, when they get on the spot, they lose everything. Like, you can't even think.
Yeah, like, nah, it's so much exciting. And it's like, dudes who do that, you got to understand, like, that's a skill set that they got to work on as well. They're not just like guys. Some guys, is even that, when they can come from the dome, it's like, yo, man, respect that.
Yeah. And that's a gift. I think that's definitely a gift, especially when you can rap and rhyme on the fly without having to write anything down. Like, that's hands down one of the greatest gifts.
Hands down, hands down, whatever. Hands up, don't shoot. I would get cooked in a rap battle. I'm just putting it out there. Don't ever think that Steele is coming like your word, son. Yes. Like, I practice, like, every fight is a championship fight. Every stage is the big stage to me. Every crowd is a huge crowd to me. So I'm like, how can I be better than the last performance?
Yeah.
That's the only, like, tunnel vision when it comes to that, because everybody else has their thing that they do, and it's different. Like, I love to be inspired.
Yeah.
And if I rewind my mental clock, one of my favorite shows to watch was a Fuji show in, I think, late 90s, when they brought out Q-Tip. And Tip was a maniac on stage. He was jumping in the air. I was like, woo! I love this shit right here. I'm doing all of that. You could do that on hip hop? You could just lose your shit? I'm like, yeah, that was so exciting and exhilarating. I was like, yep, I want to have fun on stage.
Yeah.
So you can let go. You ain't gotta be all inhibited, like, oh, word, I gotta look tough. I gotta be like very flawless, and then you trip over the mic. Like, yo, I'm hardcore.
As I'm tumbling to the ground. That's funny. But I love that. And what I love about you guys is that I notice something different happens when a live band is playing when you guys do y'all thing. So I watched y'all when y'all were at the Sean P joint, and Evil D was on the, and he was DJing. But then at the J Period joint, when the live band was playing, like something different happened. Yes, I seen Mumu post that. That was devastating, because it was like, how does that happen? Like, that's another thing. Like, life is so short. So these moments, being able to tell these stories and put them on record, it's so important for me to be able to do this, because we don't know when our last day is. So to be able to cherish every single moment that we're given, because and he played his heart out that night. And that was one of the best shows. Like, that was one of the best shows, and I'm so glad I was able to be there.
2 sets, just rocking. And then after that, went to the after party and just was jamming for everybody. I was just like, yo, music, people that just have this more than a talent. It's more than that. Like, it's spiritual. Like, you're
absolutely
able to go
it
in
is.
And move stuff around, and then you're not here.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
I would be. It would be blasphemy for me not to use this.
Yeah.
If I can use this and it can be useful to others, and I'm just sitting here holding on, then I can't complain about nothing that's going on in the world.
No.
So.
And that's one thing I always tell God, like, I want to be completely empty when I leave here.
Yeah. Ooh, the scroll of emptiness.
I want to give everything I have, every gift that he's given me. It doesn't belong to me anyway. It belongs to the world. So everything that he's given me an opportunity to be able to do, I want to give it out. I don't want to leave anything behind. I don't want to take anything with me. And so, that might seem crazy to some when people feel like, oh, you're always saying something so positive, and but this is my gift to the world. I don't have anything else for them but that. And if I have that gift, I'm going to keep giving it. Every chance I get, I'm going to give it. It's funny because being in New York, there's a certain thing that people have to have, when they're in New York. I still smile at everybody. I be on the train having conversations with people. I'm smiling and laughing and talking.
That's cool. Bring that shit.
And people are like, oh my God, usually people don't even. Right. But you know what? Like, but trust me, I'll still get busy if I need to. But I don't even bring that energy. Like, I'm just like, how you doing? Like, if I see an older lady that's trying, I'm gonna help her. Like, that's just who I am. That's just my nature. And it has nothing to do with trying to be something else. This is just me. And so spreading my kindness is so much better than anything else. So
yeah, well, I'm glad I grew up in New York. And I just had a conversation with my boy, big up to my boy Fubs, about that same thing, about that New York look. And knowing how to maneuver. And I like my New York look, and it took me a while to get used to it when I go overseas. And I've learned how to utilize it, but I like it. I like it. I wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah. And I know how to turn it on and off, but for the most part, I enjoy just being me.
Good, thanks.
I enjoy that. Now,
music can take you out. It'll take you out of how you doing something crazy. You know what I mean? Like, nope. Let's go. 50 years, 50 niggas. And what have we learned?
What have we learned? 50-50, the new song. Make sure y'all download it. But like, segueing, like we were about to segue into in the light of Method Man, on one of the podcasts he was just on, talking about his struggle with depression. A lot of times y'all are not given the space to be able to be honest about the mental health struggles that you guys might have. How does that open up the conversation to Black men mental health, and also the mental health in the rap industry? Because I feel like that's not talked about. There's a stigma that you guys have to be a certain way or look a certain way, or have this eternal hardness about you, but no one can be vulnerable. So how did him saying that open something different up for you guys?
It's crazy. So many things just went through my head. I had to rewind the tape and see my face. I think Method Man speaking on something like that is very powerful. Of course, because he's who he is, and it's the day and time when you need transparency, particularly from these icons. Like he's a god of rap, and to talk about vulnerability is very powerful and revealing.
Yeah.
Gotta give someone who's afraid to be real the lane to go, oh, I got chinks in my armor and I can still be a success. Absolutely. You can struggle and still get out of that.
Yeah.
Word, Method Man can do that. Absolutely. So yeah, salute to the big homie, man. I think that when more rappers start having these conversations, then it becomes cool, and it won't feel so out of pocket to do it. And then like don't be weird about it because everybody ain't just converting to your diet. I'm not a vegan.
Right.
I know how to mix it up. I'm mixy. I can go eat that greedy vegan right now. You know what I'm saying? Get the mac and cheese and the fish that's not fish. But I can also get me a whole salmon or a whole red snapper from Flatbush or something like that.
And cook it himself.
Yeah, but I like that. I like that freedom.
Yeah.
So when I do that in my life, I want that to translate in my music. I don't want to be restricted to these things. So like God bless Sean Price, man, because um like even when I wasn't doing the America's Nightmare series, like I had Welcome to Bucktown. I was doing it. I always think about putting my family first. And like Sean is a picky guy. So I'm sending him beats. I was like, I think this is perfect for you. He's like, nah, I'm not feeling that. So like I gotta keep doing this like 3, 4 times and then I'm like, you know what, never mind, bro. So it's like, yo, man, all right, yo, listen, man, I work on a project right now. I want you on something. I'm gonna send you a joint and you send me a joint. Whatever you send me, I'm gonna just get on it. All right, cool, thanks. Right? That's to me, that's really what it is. Like I'm work for hire. I'm a hitman. I'm a mercenary. I'm a soldier, but I'm a mercenary. You need me? What's the assignment? Like if it's some crazy whacked out ish, I'm not doing it. I could do that now. I don't gotta do it for the buck. But I like to do stuff that's kind of like out of my comfort zone.
I love that.
I don't even know what my comfort zone is really. I'm a weirdo. I'm a Brooklyn weirdo.
So you had posted something not too long ago, and you were talking about that you were just like this rollerblading around.
Oh yeah.
Brooklyn back in the day, but like what I love so much about your transparency and your real rawness is that you're not afraid to be you, whatever that looks like.
That's work, man. Especially here, it's work. Because you're supposed to look like something. The guy on the poster, you're supposed to be that guy, whatever that imagery is, whoever. You're supposed to be that, and you juggle that. And I think like going back to what Meth was talking about, like a lot of artists don't get the opportunity to truly be real. I don't get to tell you that I had a bad day when I go into it. I gotta put makeup. Like respect all the women. Like y'all put a little makeup on and they think it's sweet. You might be ready to smack Earth, Wind, and Fire out. Somebody, hey man, what is this right now? What? I had a bad night, boy. Don't get me. But anyway, it's like we get to put this face on, but when we put the face on, we go out there and we talk about how real we keeping it. And then it's almost like this wild contradictory conversation because now you're putting out this imagery to people who aspire to do this and they don't have the right formula because you're telling them to be, in order to be real, you got to be fake. Like, I want to be here and tell you who I really am. We all mourn for when we lose an artist. We see people lose stuff, fires, floods, and all of these things. Now you got to erase the rap part.
Right.
Put some humanity in these.
Yeah,
artists
I was gonna say, be human. Regular. Right.
Yeah.
Y'all are still human beings at the end of the day. And I feel like when we look at the poster, I feel like what happens with the fans and then they forget that you guys are just people. That is what you do. That's not who you are.
Yeah. We can redefine it. We can give it more different kind of meaning. We can get esoteric. We can go fan is short for fanatic, or fan it could be something that keeps you cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we could be cool about this. We could be a cool fan. You don't gotta be a fanatic or a maniac, creeping around. You know, like just be cool. Because I like the opportunity to talk about like why do you like my music? I'm in your town. What makes you even reach that far?
Yeah.
For me to now I'm in your hood. Take me around. What's popping over here? Like
Yeah.
I like that about hip hop. I don't feel like I'm killing it. You know, I feel like wow, they allow Tech and Steele to come in here and walk in here. Like, this is beautiful. This thanks and praise for the most high.
Yeah.
You know, we got to put on our guard head and walk through here with respect. And for the pioneers said, all right, y'all good. You good to go. Go ahead, little homies. When we get to walk through this lane, we're gonna do it until we can. It's only right. So it's difficult, like trying to maintain that humanity while you're putting on the show. It's 24 hours. Your rap clock don't punch out.
Yeah.
You know, so you forget that, and we lose a lot along the journey. We mess up relationships with our loved ones. We start abusing ourselves. I know we was going to get into that, but we start self-medicating.
Right.
We start just getting crazy.
Yeah.
And the life, you look at the artwork, it's a lot of colors. It's mixy.
Yeah.
And it'll hug you like that too. You know, until you realize, wow, what was that light is? Broken glass everywhere.
Just don't care.
Why is that still hot right now?
Yo, because it is.
What's it called?
The Message. That was why I fell in love with hip hop. I was 5 years old when I heard that song.
Who never felt like that? Who never felt like don't push me because I'm so
and here's okay. So then let's segue into this. When you talk about there's that song that was really reporting what was happening in the streets, and
it's talking about the mindset of individuals living in that time.
Right. Like, so PTSD in the hood. We don't address that enough because we think PTSD is reserved just for the soldiers that were at war.
Right.
But we're fighting wars in the streets all the time that we don't get a severance for. We don't get college paid for. Like this is a real life war. We're losing people all the time. And there's PTSD associated with that. And then on top of that, just being Black in America, what that carries. So we should be able to have a space where we can talk about our mental health as a community, as the Black and brown community, because we're all struggling with something, even if we don't verbalize it. And so my question was going to be after that was, how do we create that space to be able to have these conversations and to make allowances for one another?
I mean, I'm what you might can describe as a pessimistic optimistic pessimist, because I believe that something of that structure requires a lot of politics, and people are hurting. You know, so you got people that are hurting running the program, and people don't trust because their trust have been broken. And how do you heal that?
Yeah.
I say something esoteric. You got to start with one person. When you see somebody like Method Man saying something like, yo, I was depressed. Word, you? Oh, me too, Meth. Now what you going to have now? A conversation.
Yep.
Now, how do you mediate that conversation? Now we got to talk about that. And we got to have patience to do that. We struggling in relationships. We were struggling in relationships when it's a man and a woman, or when it's a woman and a woman, or a man and a man. And it doesn't have to do anything with sex. It's about communicating. People are scared to express vulnerability because you are growing up where you have to be tough. Yeah. You can't show your feelings because someone is going to break your heart. You can't show vulnerability because someone is going to make fun of you. I feel bullied. You're going to back to the. I grew up getting bullied, jumped. I had to know that if you walk on the wrong block, that's where the older dudes is going to run up on you, try to check your pockets. I was a broke kid anyway, so I ain't had nothing in my pockets. I had half fare bus pass. I ain't had nothing.
Right. So let me just walk down the street with my pockets inside out because you get nothing.
know what I mean? They take anything. They'll
Yeah.
take your ski hat. They'll take your sneakers. I'm like, wow, you can't even fit these.
Like, why are you taking them?
But I grew up knowing the land. I wasn't participating until later. But it's all a conversation. And like you said, we don't talk about that enough. Right. But I wanted to touch on something that you said when you initially started the conversation, because I'm going, damn, maybe we don't listen enough. You know what I mean? Like if you think about somebody like Juice World, like that after he's gone now, he's 20 something year old, young and 20 years old, who was talking about this dark stuff and throughout and XXX Tentacion, like another one who's talking about like, and then he has so many fans. What are they fans of? They're fans of this feeling, this emotion, this mentality. Are we listening? Are we checking and seeing what's going on with them? Are we talking to them? Are they parents that can't reach them? We're going, yo, turn that off. That's the only person that's talking to them right now. So I love XXX. I love Juice WRLD. I love, and both of them gone. So who else is appealing to our vulnerabilities? Because obviously it ain't the rap guys who's getting all this money. They could give two dams about you. Only time they give a damn about you if your ass is out or you just really messed up and they can throw some money on the street and you can pick that shit up. We don't. That's how we deal with humility amongst our people, and it's hurtful. It is. So when you got people who can stand up and do something that's right, it looks really dope. Like imagine Jay-Z coming out and talking about some real shit like that. Right. You know what I mean? I think the conversation would be explosive, but I think it's also dealing with the politics. People are one afraid, because it's going to damage that image of that person that's on that poster. Right. Right. And then they're going to have to show accountability. They're going to have to walk that walk. And then they're probably going to lose fans. They're going to lose money. Right. And that's right. And that's what it boils down to. And it's like there is no, where's the safe space? Where's the safe space? And even as you said, in relationships where people don't listen, like where can you be vulnerable where you know that you can say what you need to say and that's not going to be thrown back in your face when somebody gets upset with you? I'm glad you recorded this because there are people who are on this social media and they are there, but it's such small classes. And I think like any therapy, like start small. Right. You know what I mean? Start small, start in a corner, then build a room. Build a room, build a house, build a floor, and build a house. You know, I believe in that process, and I think that you can weed out the bullshit. As my man Sean Price say, weed out, give it that bullshit. You know what I mean? Because like it will consume you. Yeah. You know. Yeah. What Jennifer said, you sitting doodle long enough, you start to think. Yo, we get so many great lessons from all of these pioneers. Like, how could we shun any of them? Right. Let's have the conversation and let's stop letting the one with the money mediate our bill. Yeah. I want to name some brothers and sisters that's on the line right now, but I think that's a whole nother different conversation. Just expose yourself. Salute to you if you're out there doing that and bring more attention to that. Yeah. And having conversations like this. Yep. I mean, I want to have, as much as I love doing these interviews and I love to hear the backstories, the hip hop stories, but I also want to dig into the person. I want to dig into after, when the curtains close and the lights go down and you go home. Who are you inside? What's happening on the inside? And these are I just had a conversation with Chip earlier and he was like, I wish I would have been able to stop and chill a little bit more. Everything was moving so fast back then that I didn't get a chance to really enjoy the moments. And so and here we are as we're celebrating 5 decades of hip hop and we think back and I'm grateful to be able to have been, a part of all of that back in the 90s and to be watching this in real time. But it did go by so quickly. So even now when we go to concerts and I hear y'all or I hear them or I hear any of the older artists, I get transcended back. Thanks for that. I feel like I'm that 16-year-old girl again watching Rap City or watching Yo MTV Raps or Video Music Box and listening to these artists. And so it's a blessing to be able to do what I do. And I'm so grateful. And you get to see, and you actually know some of these people. Like you really get to see and sit around some of them. So it's not such a like a phantasm thing. It's like it's real.
Y'all are my
We're
peers for
here.
real, right?
So we can say a lot of our fans, or you say our hardcore fans or our diehard fans, is family.
Yeah.
Right? We're weaved in here some kind of way. We grew up, we watched these decades change. 10 change,
Mm-hmm.
20, 30, 40. We watched the game change.
Yeah.
We
I mean,
watched
we're 70s babies. So we were able to, I mean, you're a little bit older than me. Not much. Just a little bit. But we were able to
I
watch
am hip
this.
hop. That's my
You are. And this is what I love, because there's so many of y'all that I feel like didn't get y'all just do, or didn't get y'all flowers the way that y'all was supposed to. And we were talking about seeing somebody post something the Snoop and DMX verses. And I'm so glad I got to watch that in real time. DMX was
classic. We
hilarious in
gone.
that. Oh,
We gone.
and
Like,
and he
rest in
passed
peace.
away not too long after that. But for him to be able to see that, to be able to experience that, he deserved that.
That's a fact.
And you were talking about before, when you feel like
I just got goosebumps again. Yo.
every
I just
every
thought about
album.
his performance at what was it? I forgot what the Hot 97 joint when they were concert. Longer the short, that's one of the other shows that just made
Yo, what I used to love about, I mean, because I had all his CDs back then. I was a huge DMX fan.
And he's a Sag life.
Okay then. Um those powerful prayers that he would pray in his albums. That man was anointed. I don't care what his struggles were. I don't care what he was doing or what he was dealing with. That man was anointed by God. And those prayers that he would pray were penetrable. Like that how many people would listen to those very things and it would change something in them.
That's right.
And so, like, no matter how big or how small, like, you guys are doing, you're making a difference. So I want to personally thank you for the difference that you're making out here, and to keep doing what you're doing, because this is the best is yet to come.
I believe that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Same to you.
Thank you.
And that's a wrap.
That's a wrap. So thank you so much for another amazing episode of Think Light Talk Heavy. I'm your host, Miss Jamie B. The legendary General Steele was in the building today, and thank you.